All right, Ronan, it's 2024. And whenever I go on LinkedIn nowadays, I see there's a different and a new, better way to open a cold call. I wanted to bring you on as you're the best cold caller I know. What are some of the best ways to open the cold call to nail the first 15 seconds of that conversation?
This is going to be one of those things that always is relevant because with the cold call, with the opening line, the opener, it's sort of like your subject line in an email or the first line you see in LinkedIn DMs. It's the attention grabber. Anytime we talk about call openers, you got to go back into the science. What do we know about human behavior? What do we know about how people act as people? And as a result of knowing this, we can make some predictions about what will work. And this is really how I base my whole foundation of like what I train people on in my boot camp, my clients who I work with, and I build out their SDR teams, like what I do with them as well and why it works. So right now I have a client, 6 callers. 2 months ago, they had 0 callers. So I helped them hire. Now we're training every single one of them already by the end of month 1 was getting past the call opener. No problem. We get past the call opener, I'd say 80 to 82, maybe 83% of the time, which is pretty much as good as you can ask for.
So does that mean, Ronan, that they were gaining permission to proceed with the pitch? Is that what you're getting at there?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It's earning the next 30 seconds of a call after the first 10 to 15, maybe even 30 seconds.
Okay.
And half of them are getting laughs. So here's what we know about psychology that everyone has to understand. In the book, Thinking Fast, Thinking Slow, Daniel Kahneman, Amos Tversky, they talk about how our brains are chunked into 2 systems. One of them dominates most of our day that we don't even pay attention to. It's our automatic processing. It's called System 1. System 1 is necessary. Like if I'm going to be driving, if I had to think about every decision I had to make, like turning on my blinker, hitting the brake when a car stops in front of me, hitting my gas when I can't drive. I can't process anything. My brain would shut down. Too many decisions. So out of survival, our brains develop the system that does automatic stuff. But how does it make decisions? It looks for cues. It looks for clues that it knows to trigger a neurological pathway. I know this is getting really nerdy and sciencey, and I'll bring it back to cold calling in just a second. But if you stay with me, what you'll learn from this is how to use the psychology to get past the opener. Same thing happens when I call a prospect, right? So they have an existing System 1 decision-making criteria that is operating the second they pick up the phone. We think about the last time you might have gotten a robocall, spam call.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're just like, I don't want to talk to this person. Why?
Not at all. Yeah.
What are we immediately assuming when you see likely spam, if you even answer that, or you see someone from your area code? I hate that trick. Someone from your area code is calling you and you answer the phone. What are you immediately coming to that picked up call with?
I'm on the defensive because I know it's probably a salesperson trying to push something on me that I don't need. And actually, this happened 2 weeks ago. Someone on Grant Cardone's team down in Miami duped their number and it looked like a 215 number. So I picked up and I was like, oh my God, come on. So it happened and I was defensive.
Totally. Yeah. And they're not from Philly. 215 is Philly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I could tell by the hat.
Yeah.
Fly, Eagles, fly. All right. So yeah, they're not from Philly. That already is going to set me off on all the defenses, all the red flags, all the warning signs. My brain is now System 1 kicked in and it's saying, don't get tricked. I'm going to be tricked. Someone's about to take advantage of me. I'm defensive. So that's System 1. What is System 2? System 2 is less automatic. System 2, by the way, the guys who came up with this won the Nobel Prize for this research. That's how powerful it was. Their body of work is now being studied by anyone in university studying economics, studying how purchasing and decisions happen. It's such a powerful theory that they proved, all about how we make decisions. So System 2 is slow and effortful. It's the slower thinking. Now, here's one of the big distinctions between System 1 and System 2. System 1's automatic, but it also is usually very error prone. We make a lot of mistakes when we do System 1 thinking. One example that a lot of people are very aware of now in modern day HR policies and procedures is like hiring. So there's a new approach to hiring where you won't even see the candidate's name. You won't see a picture, anything that could trigger any kind of bias that someone could have about people. So when it comes to cold calling, System 1, if I reach out to someone, System 1 is screaming, who is this? What is this about? Be on alert. Be ready to look out for a scam. Automatic thinking. And so I'm listening for someone who's going to sound like the way I think a scammer sounds. That's usually someone who is going to sound scripted.
Talk fast.
Yeah. That's really cool. I don't know how that just happened.
I don't either. I like it. I like it.
Yeah. And what they're going to do is essentially they're looking for a way to cut you out. They're trying to make a decision. So the first question you have to answer within the first minute, not really minutes, 10 seconds, is who is this? What is this about? So the reason why you have to answer that is because the person on the other end wants to know who is this and what is this about. So System 2 is what we want to activate. We want our prospects to go from System 1 thinking that they're ready to go with into 2, because 2 will force them to pay attention to what I'm saying. And I'm trying to grab their attention. So here's the opener I go with. The opener is really straightforward and simple. Let's say I'm calling you, Matt. I'll actually role play this. All right. So I'm going to call you. Ring, ring.
Hello, this is Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, who's this?
Matt, it's Ronen Pesar with RP Advisory here. How have you been?
Been all right. Ronen, what's this about?
Yeah, Matt, look, I know nobody likes getting a cold call, especially not on a Friday afternoon. So if you don't mind, I can keep it super brief, tell you why I'm calling. And then after you can decide if you want to hang up on me.
Sounds good. You got 30 seconds.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate the shot. That's my opener.
Got it. You know what you did there? So go back to the very beginning when I opened the call. What did you say exactly? You slowed down your pace tremendously. And it slowed down my brain, I feel like.
Yeah, so let's break that down. So the very first thing is I'm going to say, if I'm not using a parallel dialer where names pop up really fast and I don't have time to do this, so if I'm just going one at a time, I'm just going to go in with the person's first name, really enthusiastic. So it's actually, I'm trying to call up a very warm and friendly, enthusiastic tone. So think of the way that you are going to talk to someone when you see your best friend who you haven't seen in a long time and you just saw the person. Better yet, let's say that person calls you and you're like, oh my God, I've been wanting to talk to you for so long. I just keep getting busy and I haven't called you. Hey, what's going on? You're super excited to talk to them. That's the tone that you want to open with. All I say is, hey, first name. Hey, Matt. Hard stop. I don't talk. Sometimes the prospect will respond with yes, who is this? What's this about? Right? They need to know, who is this? What is this about? Yeah. Other times I'll be like, oh, hey. They think they might recognize you. The reason I do that is it's different. It sounds different than anything that they would ever get from a call center.
Oh, 100%. 100% it's different.
It sounds different than any AI cold caller, which are now doing a lot of spam calling.
Oh my God. I've seen those, man. And those is quite good, right?
Oh yeah, we could do a whole video just on the world of AI calling and where it's heading. It's pretty crazy.
We could.
But then from there, so then I double down on the familiar and friendly and I say their name again. Hey, Matt, everyone's favorite name. Everyone's favorite word is their name, right? Yeah. So, hey, Matt, it's Ronen Pesar. I say my full name to give it a little bit of an authoritative feel to it. And now I'm going to start to pivot from friendly and warm to I'm going to slow it down in the actual pace. Hey, Matt, it's Ronen Pesar with RP Advisory here. How have you been? Not how are you? Not how's your day going?
Why do you do how have you been instead of how are you? Because I know most salespeople, when they're opening a cold call, it's, hey, Ronen, it's Matt with IBM. How are you today?
Honestly, that's good too. If we're being completely transparent about it, it doesn't really matter as much what you say as much as how you say it. So the delivery is key. The reason I go with how have you been is it just adds that extra flair of, do I know this person? There's a really good opener that's similar to this where I like this one a lot. I got this from the guy we were just talking about a minute ago, Andrei Carell, I think is his name. Yeah, and he goes, don't rack your brain. Don't try to figure it out. You don't know me. I'm actually cold calling you. And the reason I like that is because it leverages the most important thing a cold caller can do to shift a brain from system 1 to system 2, from automatic to slower thinking, which is to disarm the defenses. You want to go for constant disarming tactics. So if I am super straightforward and honest and I say, this is a cold call, I know you hate getting them, I hate making them. Hey, look, I know no one likes getting a cold call, especially not on a Friday afternoon. Just calling it out. Or don't try to rack your brain. You actually don't know who I am. We've never spoken before. This is a cold call. Yeah. By the way, if you want to hang up on me now, I will not be offended. It's been happening all week.
That's funny. You have nothing to hide, and it's immediately building trust with that prospect.
Exactly. And what you're doing is you're saying, I'm trustworthy. Like you just said, that builds a little bit of rapport, a little bit of trust in a situation, a dynamic that is typically thought of as very fraudulent, snaky, slimy. I want to stay away from cold callers is typically what people think. Yeah. So they're getting a ton of these bad calls. If they get one from you that sounds different, that's going to get their attention in a way that they've never had someone try to get their attention before. You're already in. You've now bought the next 20 to 30 seconds.
And what was the percentage? So these 6 reps that were using this opener, what was the percentage of time that they were getting past the opener and to their pitch? Was it around like 70 to 80%? That's what I've seen in the past for just me personally with a permission-based opener.
Yeah, so I actually once put out this post where I did this whole experiment on like what my opener rates looked like. But typically what I'm seeing right now with this is like 79 to 82% from I got connected to the actual conversation. And a conversation in this case is at least 30 seconds of talking. So yeah, usually it could be as low, maybe in the low 70s even is still okay. But you want to stay above about 70% of your calls that you make, assuming it's the right person and it's not the wrong number. Okay. So right person, you want about 70 to 80%. That's the golden zone of them saying, sure, go ahead. You've got 30 seconds. What's up?
And 50% of those folks were laughing.
Yeah, of those with my team, as we were doing, so I do call review with them every week. We listen to call recordings, we analyze them, I give them feedback. That's a way to keep the train on the track, make sure we're staying strong with our skills. Half of them, every single week that we listen to, get a chuckle when they open with the line where it's like, look, I know no one likes getting a cold call, especially not on a Friday afternoon here. You mind if I share why I'm calling? I'll keep it super brief, and then you can decide if you want to hang up on me. Is that fair?
I love it, man.
And so people will often be like, they'll chuckle, they'll say like, okay, sure. Like, yeah, I've had prospects say and heard them say to other people, I would never hang up on you, right? Because you're calling that out. You're calling out the thing that they want to do. And that's a powerful thing. So Chris Voss talks about this all the time, right? Like call out the thing, the elephant in the room. That's another way to be disarming. If you can find all these puzzle pieces and put them together for ways to disarm a prospect in real time with your tone, being wildly honest and transparent with them. My favorite way to do that. Hey, is this a cold call? Like that's an objection we've all heard. I go, it is. Yeah, I'm cold calling you. Do you want to hang up on me? You can. And sometimes they'll laugh and say like, no, I wouldn't do that to you. What can I do for you? What do you want? Right. So call
and sometimes they will hang up, and who cares?
That's right. You just got to keep rolling with the punches. Next play.
Yep. So you're recommending, if somebody was an SDR who is just starting out, it sounds like these 6 people are brand new SDRs at this company that you just onboarded and trained. Mm-hmm. This is the recommended opening pitch for these folks?
It is, yeah. Okay. And this script that I use, and I've tailored it to this company. We've worked it through a few times to make sure we really hit hard with the value prop. But it's free and available. You could download it on my LinkedIn profile. I think I've seen over 1,500 people download it just in the last few months alone. It's one that I've used. It's battle tested. It's ready to go. But it doesn't matter. The words don't matter as much. Yeah. It's all about the delivery. And I have a version of this where I actually have all of these different parts of the tone written in next to the words. And that's a good way to kind of cue for yourself. What do you want them to feel when you're saying these words? So write that feeling down. Do you want them to feel surprised, curious? Do you want them to feel warm, like you're friendly? And how do you want yourself to come off sounding? So sometimes when I ask a question, I might want to sound a little bit uncertain, not sure. For example, one of my favorite ways to ask for time is to sound a little uncertain. Say like, would it be a terrible idea if we found 30 minutes to chat next week? How's Wednesday? Would it be awful if we found some time on Wednesday for an introduction?
Yeah, everybody wants like the perfect script, the perfect framework, the perfect words, and it doesn't really matter that much. It's more about how you say it, how you deliver it, your tonality, and your pacing.
Absolutely. Yeah. The script does matter, but not as much as people give it credit for. I'll give you the best example of this. You can find online the Wolf of Wall Street script.
Yeah.
You can find it. You can find some other ones, I'm sure Grant Cardone ones, other big names in the cold calling world, even the ones that have gone, turned it into a big Hollywood blockbuster like Wolf of Wall Street. Mm-hmm. That's not going to do anything for you, because even Jordan Belfort will talk about how it's all about how you deliver the words. You can find his modern day YouTube videos where he does training and stuff, right? Yep. Even he talks about it. He spends most of his time showing examples of how to sound, to the point where it's like each word he breaks down sound bite by sound bite, little part by little part. And he talks about voice inflection. He talks about all these other things. And for him, he's gone deeper into the tone, because everyone who cold calls long enough realizes at some point, you can almost say anything as long as it sounds good, you're going to get someone's attention.
I like that. You can almost say anything as long as it sounds good, you'll get their attention. That's it.
That's it. And the key to sounding good is being different. And I would challenge people to be wildly audacious here. Like, really try to toe the line. Keep one foot in shameless audacity. One foot in like almost being like that that like notorious class clown that you grew up with, who was always cracking jokes at the teacher's expense in school. That's one foot should be there, and the other foot should be in the professional, respectful. If you can toe that line where you're half and half, that's the golden sweet spot for how to sound just like a little audacious while being a bit respectful. And I know that sounds like a contradiction, but it's about not sounding too, what's the word? Like, you're better than me. You're like, a lot of callers put the prospect on a pedestal. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I called you, and that comes off really unattractively. Once in a while, you come across the incredibly aggressive cold caller who's just push. That's also not great. But most people who are listening to this probably aren't that. Most people probably fall in the first bucket. I'm too respectful. I'm too polite. And that's normal. We've been taught and raised to think that we have to be polite to people in social settings. But here's the thing. Cold calling isn't a social setting. It's a business activity. We play by different rules.
Yeah. 100%. So that script or that opener with where each word next to it has the feeling you're going for, am I able to link that, Ronan, in the description of the video down there?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll throw that one in there.
And you're still doing the boot camps, right?
For now, I am. Yeah. I still have boot camps. That's live training, FaceTime with myself, small cohorts. I cap them. And what we do is it's intensive. It's meant to be like the way that I would onboard sales development reps or cold callers or account executives, sellers who I've worked with in the past. It's the same approach I used to use when I was onboarding new hires, which was intensive. It was 3 to 4 weeks of, we're going deep. So I spend about 1.5 hours to 2 hours a day for 3 weeks with everyone. Wow. We learn the basics, we practice. We learn the basics, we practice. Then we start calling together. with live real-time feedback. And then we listen back to those calls and analyze, and then we do a reinforcement training.
That's awesome. And one more thing I want to mention before we close out this video. You mentioned at the start that these 6 SDRs that you just onboarded and trained through this program are having success within 30 days. So it doesn't take a ton of time to get up to speed and have good conversations with prospects, and you're booking meetings.
That's exactly right. It does take time to develop a little bit of confidence when you're totally new.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of time to get comfortable with the words. And it is important to be comfortable with what you do, being able to articulate that in simple, plain English. Keep it to 5th, 6th grade level English, no marketing buzzwords, no jargon. It takes a little bit of time to get comfortable with all that, but with just repetition and practice and then actually making some calls, you get over that in about 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, frequency of dials is going to get you there.
Nothing beats doing it. Yeah, nothing beats actually doing it.
So stop watching these videos. Stop watching Ronan's videos.
Now that you've watched the videos, go pick up the phone. Yeah.
And start making calls. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Check out Ronan's bootcamp. Download Ronan's guide in the description of this video. Ronan, can't thank you enough for hopping on the videos in 2024. I know we have a lot planned. It's going to be a good year.
Always a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me back. I love the work that you're doing here. This is one of the best YouTube channels on the internet, so thank you.
There we go. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.